Donald Trump comes up with an abortion plan he says will make everyone happy, because nothing makes people happy like abortion. The government's once again on the verge of shutting down, and wait, how can it shut down if it's never worked in the first place? And Biden makes a deal to free hostages from Iran. Wait, another Iran hostage crisis? And I thought the new Exorcist movie was going to be the worst reboot from the 70s. That and more on this week's headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Hunter Biden is suing the IRS, alleging that two agents violated his privacy by sharing confidential tax information with the press and Congress. I'm just happy that, unlike Hunter's other violations of privacy, this one isn't going to violate Matt's eyeballs. Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert was kicked out of a Denver theater showing of Beetlejuice, the musical, after complaints she was causing a disturbance. She was accused of vaping near a pregnant woman, but she denied this. Boebert said the only thing she was guilty of was laughing and singing too loud. I get it. To this day, I still get overly animated whenever I watch Beetlejuice and see the sandworms. Terrifying. However, the Denver Center for the Performing Arts released video footage of Boebert and her date at the theater, and, well...
The DCPA says she was vaping. Boebert's team denied that, said the haze was from fog machines in the show. That claim goes up in smoke when you see the video. Boebert occasionally took a break from being disruptive to enjoy the company of her male companion. He briefly had a grasp on the situation before ushers returned and told Boebert she had to leave. The theater's incident report says Boebert pulled the "Don't you know who I am" card on the way out.
That's not a sandworm. The man was apparently a Democrat who owns a gay-friendly bar that hosts drag shows. Boebert says she dumped him and should have checked his party affiliation. You know, we've come a long way as a country. 30 years ago, the scandal would have been that he owned a gay-friendly bar. Now the scandal is that a Republican went on a date with a Democrat. Progress? Is it just me, or does this sound like the third act of a romantic comedy where the couple splits thinking they're too different after all, only to reunite in the end? Coming this summer, Make America Grope Again. Speaking of Donald Trump, the former president has criticized Republicans pushing abortion bans with no exemptions, calling it a losing battle that is going to cost them elections. Trump says he'd like to have Democrats and Republicans sit down together and talk and find a number of weeks in pregnancy when both sides can agree abortions should be banned, with exceptions for the health of the mother. His plan is to basically art of the deal abortion. I guess that's better than deciding with an auctioneer. 5 weeks, I got 5 weeks here. Do I hear 6? 6 weeks. Do I hear 7? 70 weeks. That's 6 months old. Get out of here, you maniac. Trump insists this would make both sides happy.
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years.
Oh, you sweet summer child. People are always going to be mad about abortion, no matter what compromise is reached. That's just something we have to come to terms with. And I know some people right now might be mad because I suggested something should be brought to term. Trump refuses to commit to national abortion restrictions and called Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' decision to sign a 6-week abortion ban in Florida a terrible mistake. This angered several pro-life advocates. In the wake of Trump's statements, many of the Republican presidential candidates are digging deeper on their pro-life positions. It's worth noting that the repeal of Roe v. Wade and several statewide abortion bans were seen as major contributors to Republicans performing poorer than expected in the 2022 midterm elections. So, heading into the 2024 elections, all I can say is, I'm very tired. And after the break, Rupert Murdoch steps down at Fox. Welcome back. Rupert Murdoch announced he's stepping down as the chairman of the Fox Corporation and the News Corporation. He will transition into a new role as chairman emeritus, which is an honorary title, while his son will take over his old positions. Congratulations to Murdoch on a long career and having a happier ending than Logan Roy from Secession. Spoiler. Murdoch said while he'll miss running one of the companies causing fights at Thanksgiving dinners, he looks forward to spending more time with his family and fighting at his own Thanksgiving dinners. A former ACLU employee with 20 years' experience is suing the Hawaii branch of the organization for violating the core values of diversity it espouses, alleging she was discriminated against repeatedly. This is wild. The ACLU being sued for discrimination and not following DEI protocols is like Lassie being sued for throwing kids in a well. Bad ACLU, bad. Speaking of employees not happy with their bosses, nearly 13,000 United Auto Workers union members are on strike at GM, Ford, and Stellantis plants. These strikes occurred after a 4-year contract expired and negotiations on a new one fell through. And the UAW has threatened to expand the strike to more auto plants if a deal isn't reached. Man, everyone's going on strike these days. I feel like I'm the last person still working in America. Although to be fair, I always assumed I would be, since not even the apocalypse would keep me from reporting. The portal to hell is the biggest flaming nightmare I've seen since a YouTube comment section. The UAW has proposed a 40% pay increase over the next 4 years, which is the same rate their CEO's pay grew over the last decade. Worker pay, meanwhile, has fallen by 19% over the last 15 years. This strike is causing ripple effects. The work not being done by employees on strike is causing supply chain issues. This is causing car manufacturers to send some employees home and lay off others at plants not on strike because they don't have the materials needed to work. Imagine telling that to your wife. Honey, I lost my job because I didn't go on strike. Speaking of things that end strikes, more people will be working soon and probably for less, as the Biden administration has announced it will grant temporary protected status to hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans that entered the country illegally. This will allow them to work legally. This was done largely to appease Democratic mayors in cities struggling with illegal immigrants draining their resources, particularly New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who said the crisis will destroy the city. So now they can work and help contribute, at least until they go on strike, once again leaving me as the last working man in America, and eventually the world. Speaking of employees who many would rather see get deported, Congress. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy is running out of options to stop a government shutdown on September 30th. He's having trouble getting votes from Republicans who think spending is out of control. Seems like the government is going to crash and burn harder than that F-35 that went missing this week. Only this won't be a mystery as to how it happened. It's no surprise Congress can't agree on a budget when the Senate can't even agree on what to wear. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer directed the Senate's Sergeant-at-Arms to no longer enforce the Senate's informal dress code. This will allow Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman to continue wearing hoodies and basketball shorts to work. This upset many Republicans who said this is lowering the bar, which is ridiculous. Considering Congress is in danger of shutting down more often than an uncharged iPhone in a swimming pool, the bar can't get any lower. But you know what? I think politicians should have a dress code, and we should go with an idea Robin Williams once proposed. Politicians should wear sponsor jackets like NASCAR drivers, then we know who owns them. And after the break, California ends travel bans to state with anti-LGBTQ laws. Welcome back. The California State Assembly voted to end a state-funded travel ban to states with laws they consider to be anti-LGBTQ. It will now go to the state Senate for a final vote. The ban extended to 26 states and caused issues not only with state employees and elected officials traveling to other states, but even in sports. Teams from public universities had to find other ways to pay to travel for road games in states with alleged anti-LGBTQ laws, which is insane. You shouldn't force college athletes to raise money to travel, and you especially shouldn't force them to raise money to travel places like Arizona. Get third-degree burns for accidentally touching a mailbox in August? Yeah, you'd have to pay me to travel there. 5 dual Iranian U.S. citizens were freed from Iran after being held prisoner for several years. This was in exchange for the U.S. unfreezing $6 billion worth in Iranian assets and releasing 5 Iranians in U.S. custody, 3 of whom chose not to return to Iran. President Biden said in a statement that reuniting wrongfully detained Americans with their loved ones has been a priority since day one. Though Biden touts this as a win, even CNN admits Biden's taking a political hit over it. Biden's detractors are using this trade as fuel to say that he's making America look weak. Trump, meanwhile, claims that he brought 58 hostages home during his presidency and didn't pay anything to do so. Trump further says that once you pay, you always pay, and this will encourage countries to take more American hostages. It's kind of like that story, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to kidnap a tourist for a glass of milk. It's worth pointing out that the $6 billion Iran is receiving isn't taxpayer money. This was Iranian oil funds that were frozen in a South Korean bank, and it's being given back to Iran on the condition that it's used for humanitarian purposes. Good luck with that. And as for the Iranian prisoners in the U.S. that were freed, they were arrested for breaching various U.S. sanctions, including trying to illegally export military parts and U.S. tech to Iran. On the bright side, at least, none of them were known as the Merchant of Death, so this might just be a better deal than Biden's last trade. Not surprising, really. If anyone knows how to negotiate big money deals with foreign entities, it's the big guy. Just ask Hunter Biden. But please, for the love of Matt, don't invade Hunter's privacy. And whether or not you're a fan of Biden's strategic move here, you can learn a lot about strategy, existentialism, and even ancient Sumerian history in this video about chess on our other channel, Gamers Unbeaten. Don't worry, there's lots of silly jokes to keep you edutained. You're gonna laugh and learn. And if you want to make sure we can keep making episodes like this, click that orange button to support us on Patreon. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.